My name's Joe.
Gio?
Joe.
Joe.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Joe, my name is Marcio. And like I told you before, I saw you walking by. Thank you for stopping.
No problem.
And I was telling you that I help people sell their super skill.
Yes, important.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Like when you hear those words, what comes to mind?
It worked for me in my career. I was very specialized for about a decade in one thing. And
What is that thing?
the thing was marketing technology for like enterprise companies, so big Fortune 500 companies. And it's kind of limiting in a way because it's you have to focus on one thing, but it opened a lot of doors for me because it's very clear what your value proposition is. Right? So it let me go to places like Wells Fargo, Humana, overseas in places like Ireland for Vodafone, and of course, work with lots of Canadian banks as well, places like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And so do you work for a company now or do you have your own business?
My own business. So I'm independent consulting now, but I owned a business which was sold.
Oh, okay. So after the sale, are you just like freelancing? What are you doing? Or you still have
yeah, more advisory.
Okay.
Which I was doing in that business. But it's allowed me to branch a little further away from that core competency. But actually recently I found that when I was getting inbound leads, it was from my old work, right? So it's kind of hard to escape that. So rather than avoid that, I decided to kind of embrace that recently and just kind of actually produce some video content.
Oh, really?
Around just reminding people I exist and that I can help with those things. Right?
Yeah. And so when you remind people that you exist and you can help them with those things, what do you tell them?
Mostly I just tell them what I'm working on. So they're kind of curious, or I'll show them the my own learning experience. So that's worked, or share stories, but what's worked for certain companies and other companies, that sort of thing. So just mostly tell stories.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. What is something that you're stuck on right now with helping remind people that you exist and telling them your story?
The reach is hard, so I've got I think it's something like 1,400 followers on LinkedIn, which sounds like a lot maybe, but it's not that big. It'd be much bigger to be a little bigger than that. Hopefully, we're still recording here.
Yes.
And so I've tried partnering with different software companies to say I can help with that particular solution to expand the reach. So I did that recently with kind of a Swiss German company, and they gave me some airtime.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: what is the problem that you're known for solving? Because you said marketing technology, but like if you had to frame like the one problem that you're known for solving, what would that be?
These are technologies that are they're usually kind of multi-year to implement, and they're complex. They have really broad teams, and it's kind of a process where there's very big business teams and very big technical teams, and usually they need a translator, someone to kind of help them navigate the change, and so usually that's where I'm helping.
Is it Salesforce or something like that? Like what type of software is it?
Yeah, it can be. Can be. Traditionally, it wasn't, but Salesforce is in the game. They have like a marketing suite, so it could be them. Other vendors are like Adobe, IBM had a product for a long while, and now it's kind of getting a bit more fragmented since AI and all that stuff has kind of shook things up quite a bit.
So it sounds like marketing tech activations or something like that.
Yeah, implementation for big, boring, slow-moving companies that have like a lot of people, a lot of teams, right? As opposed to kind of one individual or a small team, right?
Very interesting. Okay. Who's the person that's the buyer? Is this a CMO, a CFO?
No, C-level. I've had some relationships with, and it's sort of when you're at a place where there's kind of multi-year engagements, and it's almost like they're obliged to meet me or whatever. But that's not really where I have that kind of value discussion. That's usually the IT person who owns the marketing suite for that organization. And so they might be someone with a title like VP of information technology, something like that. So or sorry, VP of marketing technology.
And I guess their challenge is they want to go faster, they want to scale their marketing, and they want to do this on a global scale or regional scale.
Because it's IT, not necessarily.
Okay.
Business is usually the one that wants to move faster, break things, do things. They're supporting that other pure business function. And so they're more concerned with, okay, how do I satisfy this internal customer, but not breaking things, still moving quickly? How do I get value out of stuff maybe I'm stuck with? And, how do I do this cost effectively? It's more of a cost center problem, or they've just been handed a new suite. The executives have purchased a bunch of software. They need to get some value from it. They can't just sit there, otherwise it looks embarrassing.
And is that a key problem, like getting value out of software that you're spending thousands or millions of dollars to install, buy, implement?
Yeah, I mean, it's and usually what ends up happening is the large big consulting firms like an Accenture or Deloitte, and EY, they will. They usually get the fresh money for that. There's usually kind of you have a large software budget and then a large professional services budget that comes with it. Usually they can be about equal. So kind of maybe 10 million here, 10 million there. And the issue is that those large firms, they've got brand recognition, they've got some smart people, but they're usually kind of generalists, and they, which you understand the challenges with that. They need some help oftentimes, right? Or they kind of screw up. So usually it's that second round where something's gone wrong, or they're looking for the next round of improvement. And they're like, okay, who's actually the specialist? Who's really spent their career on this, right? In my case, 20 years, on that, right?
Is there anything in there? And I'm asking this question because I work with a client that is also competes with Accenture, Deloitte, and those big consulting firms. But is there any type of component that the buyers or the people inside these businesses don't realize that they need? Maybe they think that it's just the tech, like just press a button, pay the bill, get the tech installed. What stops the tech from being implemented, activated, used?
Oh, I mean, it's these buyers, especially if you think about the business buyer, so someone like a VP of marketing or senior VP. The reason they bought this tech is they went to some conference and there was like, this, crazy overselling of the value of this thing, right? And they used every, imaginable buzzword, and, they bought them drinks and fancy dinners. The salespeople have been hammering them, sometimes up to, I know one Canadian bank, it took 5 years of whining and dining for them to finally buy it. So they've got this inflated expectation of what it should do. And then you start the implementation, you realize that it's going to take longer than you thought. Your standard go-to implementation partner might not actually be an expert in it, so they don't know how to unlock that value. And so you look for a specialist, right?
And so for implementation, what are the key ingredients that people need for implementation besides the tech?
Yeah, besides the tech, the one that I find is often missing is a sense of imagination. Sometimes I've been in front of very technical teams and really smart marketing teams, but they just don't know which use cases they should prioritize. So I went in front of a retailer in the U.S., Kohl's, which is like different from the bookstore. The K one. So kind of like a Winners type thing. Like there's one over here. And so I had to conduct these workshops to basically say, well, you bought this, incredible tool. Here's some things you can do with it. And it wasn't obvious because it was one of their the software vendor's first retail clients. So most of these stories that were published were finance or insurance, those industries, right? So kind of demonstrating, doing quick mock-ups and education and facilitating these workshops is something I really enjoyed, and it was really valuable as well.
Nice. So workshop facilitation seems like the key thing that you're doing is bringing people together and getting the people to open up, warm up.
Believe it or not, you
your
had
mind.
to like see people face to face when I would do some of this. Now it's harder, a lot more Zoom calls and all that. And my friend was always the whiteboard, and then kind of jumping into demos or mock-ups and going back and forth. She would tease that out. Sometimes Post-it notes, and the really engrossed teams are really into it. There'd be like a war room. So, the whiteboards, whatever you've written there stays there. The Post-it notes stay there, and it becomes a physical space that represents where that's happening.
Yeah.
Right?
So bringing it full circle back around to the problem that you stated, which was reminding people what you do, how you're different, how you're useful. You spoke about the reach is difficult. And now you told me a story about how you're running the workshops, how you enjoy doing the workshops, how the workshops are a key way to unlock the value of what you do. Have you thought about simply taking kind of like the workshop frameworks that you have, and doing those on your own in front of a whiteboard, inside of on your computer, and recording that as content?
Yeah, I do a lot of education content.
Nice.
And it's more, I'll pick my my outcome that I want, and I usually have to do it with some type of public data or data that's on my own website. So I've done that a few times where I'm like, and there's what that introduces usually a bit of curiosity as well, because I'll actually be able to say, so one of the most recent examples was I was trying to see what the ChatGPTs and Googles of Geminis and Claude are doing on my site. And so normally they make it kind of hard for you to see that. So they skip JavaScript. They don't behave like a human. So I was able to capture some of the that raw transaction on the site, and then kind of show how I captured it, visualize it, show the outcomes, kind of that almost kind of forensics experience. So it's my data, but you can translate how a customer would do that as well. Right?
Interesting. Awesome. So yeah, maybe you want to tell people the name of your business
Sure.
and how they can find you.
Yeah, check out spadinabus.com. That's me. I've been doing marketing technology consulting, and a bit of kind of the natural pivot to that has always been marketing technology is not that interesting without the data. So data strategy, all that good stuff. Spadinabus.com. Check me out. Lots of educational content. If you found this interesting, I encourage you to check it out as well.
Yeah. And what's like the one line that you tell people, okay, this is Spadinabus, this is, we help so-and-so do this so that they can unlock this outcome.
I mean, Spadinabus is me, right? So, I moved away from the boutique and the consulting boutique that specializes in MarTech. It's everything that I'm interested in, which is still marketing technology and data strategy. So the way I put positioning it is, if you've been maybe asking AI for advice, maybe asking your Accenture and Deloitte of the world, maybe you want a second opinion from someone who's been doing it 20 years. So I've got a newsletter as well called MarTech Second Opinion, and that's usually where I start with what new connections is. Would you like a second opinion on your stacks, the project you have, a migration, a tool you want to upgrade or change, that sort of thing, and let's talk.
Yeah, because the risk of them not getting the second opinion, what's the risk?
They waste all their money, right? It's very easy once you got a large consulting firm into, they'll burn the budgets, right? They're based on billable hours. I've already sold my business. I'm mostly doing this for fun, so it's a truly independent perspective that's there to basically exercise my brain and kind of demonstrate value with some compensation, of course, but a bargain relative to what someone would get at a large GSI, a global system integrator.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting hook even. And I'm gonna shut up here because I know you can go. I can see you opening up a video. I've sold my business and I've run MarTech for over, I've sold my business for whatever, how many $1 million. I've run MarTech for this and this and this. And in this video, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z.
Hopefully it doesn't sound too arrogant. I was, cautious about that kind of message. I sold my business. I know everything, but I think you got a good point there.
So the way I hear it is here's the proof and the reason why you should continue watching the video before you waste your time, before you bounce.
Yeah.
Here's the exact promise that I'm going to give you in this video, and then here's the payoff.
Yes. Yeah.
The world today, as you know, people are super busy, super stressed, and so you need a way to cut through the noise, to get their attention, to get past their, their filters for BS and fakeness and garbage and
video helps.
And video helps,
Yes,
yeah.
I've been experimenting with that. Excuse me. What I tried recently was similar gear, similar mics and stuff, and setting it up more of a GoPro setup because I'm cycling while talking about this stuff in the city, right? So I'll talk about whatever the latest MarTech trend is on my bikes, and then kind of when I'm waiting for a light or whatever, I'm doing some editing, speeding up the video, that sort of thing. Wow. So far it's performed terribly, but maybe a few folks will see this and we'll see how that goes. Shoot.
Joe, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Pleasure. Yeah. Let me let's connect and
Yeah, for sure.
hopefully this is useful for you. How many have you recorded so far?
This is the very first one.
Okay.
Yeah.